Star Wars Geek girls. They're geek girls that like Star Wars. And sometimes cry.
All right, everybody, welcome to Star Wars Geek Girl. I'm Zoe, and I am not here with Lizzy today because we are talking about Star Wars Outlaws, which she has not played. I'm instead here with the patriarch of the Rogue Rebels, Sal Perales.
What's up? Good to see you. Happy to be here.
Yes. I'm super excited because we podcasted about Outlaws already. I think twice.
Yes.
We did like 2 Outlaws podcasts, one about like gameplay, one about story.
Yeah.
So I guess this is our 3rd Outlaws podcast.
Yes.
But we're going to be talking about the Wildcard DLC that came out, and I want to say November is when it came out.
Maybe.
Sometime.
No, I think you might be right. Yeah.
You
know what? I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, we'll go with November, and then someone can comment if I'm wrong.
Right. Fake fan, excuse me. It was actually December 2nd or whatever.
Exactly.
All right, I don't mean to be the fake fan right now. Continue.
So, yes, we're talking about Outlaws Wildcard DLC. The DLC focused on some of the Sabacc stuff of Outlaws, which I love playing Sabacc in Outlaws because I can never find people who want to play in real life. So it was very, very exciting. And had, of course, one of my favorite guys, Lando, was a P player.
I mean, real quick, we discussed this in game, but you love playing Sabacc in the game, but you like don't cheat, and I have fun playing Sabacc in the game, and I got really good at cheating. And I'm just taking everybody for their blaster part upgrade kits and ship paint jobs and such.
I like to just play the game. Except I did cheat against Lando, but only because I knew he was cheating. So, yeah, I had to make it fair.
Right. Well, I'm like, look, I'm playing a game called Star Wars Outlaws. So if I'm not an outlaw, then I'm not doing my part in the game very well.
That's
so
fair.
I need to go full out.
That's fair.
You know, if I want to play Sabacc not cheating, I can do that at home.
It's so fun though to play it with the chance. You know, you never know what you're gonna pull.
I'm like Lando. I make my own chance.
Yeah, so I guess before we like get into what was in the DLC, because it was a whole other like couple hours of like a whole new story and mission and stuff too. But I guess before you get into like the details of it, what was your general like impression of the DLC?
The adventure is great. It's like basically like a whole other like mission. It's definitely like a couple of hours at least. It's really fun. It involves Sabacc, but there's also like a whole like brand new areas to explore and stuff like that. Brand new, like it's not like a part of the bigger story. It's sort of like its own extra little adventure or side quest or whatever you want to call it. It's very fun. It's very cool. I think my main complaint about it is like after you finish it, I don't think you can go back to those areas and explore them anymore.
Yeah,
or at least I haven't figured out how to do that. So I was like, oh, like I would like to go, like now that I'm done with that, I would like to go back and be like, well, I just want to play Sabacc against people that are standing around in the halls now or whatever, you know. And I don't think I can.
Yeah, I guess that would be my complaint too, but I did enjoy getting to explore on the new day, like having like a ship for the whole mission. And I liked because I enjoy the like because the earlier parts of it at least were very much like, you know, kind of sneaking around and being undercover, and I thought that was a lot of fun to play because the rest of the game you do a lot of sneaking around. There's not quite as much of the like having a cover and like figuring out like who to talk to. Like there's not as much of that in like the base game, and so I really enjoyed that part of the DLC. And you get a cool new outfit for Kay.
Yeah. Now I got the big stupid pass that comes with like you get during the mission, you get a new outfit. But then also like if you got the pass, it also unlocked like 2 new outfits in addition. So I have like a little Boba Fett outfit, and then this really cool like Ronin style outfit that somewhat looks like the lightsaber training sajas the like the Halcyon or the Galactic Star Cruiser, like, which I also dug. Like I love all the cosmetics of the game. Like no notes.
Yeah, I think I also had that pass, and because I think I got the pass like when I bought the game, and I forgot about the the extra cosmetics part of it. I just knew about the DLC, and so like I like opened the game to play the DLC, and it's like you have presents, and I was like, what? And I was like, Boba Fett! I can be Boba Fett.
I do like the fact that like when you do get these things, I do like that it kind of shows up on your ship in this little like crate. Like that's almost like your mailbox.
Your mailbox.
You know what I mean? Like it's like, hey, they got you something. It's over in that crate. You know, ND5 is like, they got something, and then you go look, and it's like, ooh, a whole Boba Fett costume or brand new shirt and pants or whatever it is. That is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess we talk about more about the story. Because when you download the DLC, like you get like a call from like one of the like contractors, and they're like, we have a job for you. Which is how like a lot of missions start, I guess. But for this one, you're infiltrating the Marenia, which is it's Las Vegas in space. It's like a gambling parlor, but since they're floating through space and not like on a planet, it's like we don't have to follow the laws or whatever.
Right, but it's like a tournament, right?
It's like one of those gambling cruise ships. But yeah, there's like this big SWGG tournament happening on the ship as like part of it that you have to like infiltrate and try to win all the. Well, what Kate thinks is she has to go in and try to win all the money. Is what she's told.
As she would.
As she would. So you like get there, and it's like because like for most of the game, besides I guess when you're in certain parts of Canto Bight, like in the like story missions, for most of the game, like when you're K, you're kind of in the you're like I said, it's Outlaws, so you're in like the outskirts a little bit, and you're in like the kind of rundown. Like we're not going to like Alderaan. Well, because Alderaan doesn't exist anymore, but like you know what I mean. Like you're not going to the fancy places, in the game. But this is the first time where it's like this ship is very nice, and you get a very nice outfit, and everyone's dressed very fancy.
Yeah, it is like a little bit. It's a little bit closer to that Canto Bight high roll and stuff. I think it would probably fit a little. It's probably around like Cloud City level fanciness.
Yeah,
you know, the like. The actual level and the exploration and the ship and the story part is like all really, really cool. I think it's well done. The band is like on a floating, isn't like the drummer above the little bartending area or something, like really cool. There's some really cool design elements that I found really fun. But I love exploring in the game, and it was fun like running around the ship, and then I finished it and I was like, this is like the coolest thing ever. And then I was like, oh, I don't think I can get back there.
Yeah.
And I think there's even a part where like eventually you kind of end up back into Shara, but you're in this whole other area that you haven't been to. But I think again, like it's another place where you can only get to by the end of this mission, and you can't really get back there again.
Yeah, I agree. I wish, you could go back. I wish it was sort of like, because I guess it like doesn't maybe fit the story for Kay to be able to go back there, but they could sort of do it how like with Jedi like Fallen Order does it, where it's like the game's over, but it's like, all right, you can go back and like redo some stuff if you want to go like collect all the things or whatever, and that kind of side of it.
Yeah, and I mean just for like ever, but I just like the idea of like, ooh, I just want to climb that tower again, or I like so much of the story is or so much of this game, the fun of it for me is a lot of the exploration. And I'm just like, oh man, I want to explore that place now that I'm not like, oh, I need to run and find the SWGG card or the SWGG player, or I need to go like, I was so focused on the mission that like, now I'm like, well, next time, when I ever play this game again or restart it or whatever, I'll probably take a lot more time exploring the areas. Because knowing now that I can't really go back there and like mess around with them later.
Yeah, I agree. But I didn't like I said, I was talking about earlier, like the first part of the mission is like you're not doing as much of the like like you're doing a little bit, not as much of the like sneaking and like taking down guards or stormtroopers. It's more of like you go to your room and then you have to go like investigate like what's going on in this game. Like you find like a guy who got like locked in the shower, and you're like talking to people and like trying to figure out like your cover and like trying to pay people off and stuff, to try and like get into the game and like steal someone, because it's like this very like select secretive game, and it's like who the players isn't even public, and Kay's trying to get into it, so she has to like take
invite
over someone else's
only.
name.
So like a lot of infiltration in a different way than we've ever done before, because you're infiltrating this public space as opposed to like, you know, wearing your Imperial uniform and trying to sneak onto a base while crawling through vents.
Yeah.
Like,
and you have to like find blackmail material and stuff too. Like it's very personal.
Yeah. It's just like a whole different take. Like that part was really fun and really original, and it made the game like feel a little bit different than the stuff you're kind of used to, but it also fits the format pretty well. Like her fast talking, like that worked all well in the scenes when you're trying to blackmail people. And she's like, well, I can tell them about whatever, blah, 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 blah. And they didn't know about this. And they're like, oh, fine. Okay, here, take this ID card or whatever it is that you need to do the next part of the mission. That was fun. That was very cool. I like the story, and I like the scenes, and I like the playthrough. Like a lot of this, like especially like you said, the first part, it's all based around infiltrating this tournament, but there's not really so much combat. Like, because you're not sneaking. You're trying to like trick people into thinking you're invited. So like you said, it's all blackmail, and you're talking to different people and trying to dig up different dirt so you can go blackmail somebody over here, or try to sneak into their room and grab the thing so you can go and show it to somebody over here. You know,
that was
fun.
Reminded me almost of like, I don't know if you ever played any of like the Hitman games, but when you have to like, so like, you know, I mean, this wasn't, you know, you weren't assassinating people really in Outlaws, but like in Hitman games, it's like, oh, I need to get into this room, so like I'm going to cause an accident, so when the janitor goes to clean it up, I swipe his keys like when he's turned around or something like that. And it was like kind of that kind of thing where it's like you're kind of manipulating behind the scenes, and it was just really fun. I enjoyed playing it, getting to play it that way.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it was a whole new like kind of style, and I did enjoy that.
Yeah. And yeah, you get into the big Sabacc game, and of course Lando is there. And it was really cool, and it was like more intense than a lot of the other Sabacc games are, because it's like there's this like big scary like announcer, and like you're being watched a lot more closely. But then also they added this element of like when you're getting all the blackmail and stuff to get into the game, you're also learning about the different players that are in the game with you, and it's like, well, I know this guy's Tell, so if I like see him do that, I'll report him to like the moderator droid, so he gets kicked out of the game for cheating. And
you can call the other players out on like, so it's like, as you said, like it's kind of clear that the other players are cheating too, but if you've done the research and paid attention, you know their little tells, so you can be like, hey, that guy's hiding a card right there, and then all of a sudden they get thrown out or presumably like done dirty, and it's pretty funny. And that was super fun to be like, nope, that guy right there. Like, and it was fun to like turn the table, but it also like puts the pressure on you. Like when I was cheating in this game, which I had to do, I was like, oh, are they gonna catch me? But then I was like, oh no, like that's the usual. Because like when you're playing Sabacc, there's like sort of a little game mechanic to the cheating. You have to kind of like get good at it. So like presumably if you mess up that mechanic, like they kick you out and destroy you.
Yeah, I didn't mess it up, but it gets down to eventually you, at least, and I don't know if it's different, I assume it's the same, but eventually it gets down to just you and Lando. And I'm telling you, I would have beat him. I would have beat Lando fair and square. I was gonna win. And I know they probably did it on purpose, but I was gonna beat Lando. But I mean,
I already beat him on Akiva, but I was about to beat him again.
I did beat him on Akiva too. But I was going to beat him again, and then everything explodes, essentially.
Yeah.
Before he reveals his hand that he would have lost.
That was fun. It was a very like high pressure, like, because they're all kind of high pressure, but the other ones feel so repeatable. And this one is like, there's people like watching, so you can't even like mess up your cheats if you're going to do a cheat. Then you're trying to like catch the other people in their cheats, which you don't really do in the other normal Sabacc games. And then, but then all everything kind of gets busted up in this intense action sequence all of a sudden kicks off.
Yeah, it's basically it was like essentially like the game was like a front. And it's like because Kay thought her mission was to get in and win the money, win the prize for the tournament.
Well, it was like it's a moon, right?
Yeah, it was a moon to like win this moon. But then it turns out this was like a setup. And it's
right.
I'm trying to figure out how to explain it.
Well, and like Kay is also kind of blackmailed into the job in the first place.
Yes, that's true too.
Like it's this imperial governor who's like, well, I need you to go doing this thing. And she's like, I'm not going to do that. I got no, skin in this game or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, well, then I could make life very uncomfortable for you. And like, he's already set up like fake HoloNet and like, wanted signs of her and stuff. And she's like, fine. And then I'll get paid. And then it all like goes down. And so the whole like thing of her is like, she's trying to get this thing so she can get out of blackmail trouble. And she ends up like, you end up in this thing where people are trying to steal the thing that you just almost won. So it's like, you're trying to like reclaim that just so you can finish the job.
Yeah. And so basically, it's like Kay and Lando escape, and then that's when Kay realizes that he double crossed her, trying to get the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Thornton did, not Lando.
That's the imperial governor.
So then she and Lando have basically are like, well, now we have to go. Like, we kind of caused this mess. We can't just let him kind of take this moon, because at this point Lando's a rebel because of post Empire. Kay is still very not, if she, not that she ever probably will be,
right, trying to stay out of those bigger picture things.
Yeah, but she's still a nice person in a sense. So she doesn't want Thornton to take this moon because he's trying to like essentially like destroy the moon, right? I can't remember what his plan was.
I don't remember what the plan is, but basically it comes to light. Lando's trying to get the moon because he just wants to protect it because it's like a secret rebel outpost, hideout, whatever. Like they don't want the Empire knowing about it.
Yeah. Because the reason this moon is such a big deal is like it's hidden. Like no one knows besides the people running from it. No one knows where it is.
Right.
And they're trying to sell the coordinates. But so this leads Kay and Lando back to Toshara, like you mentioned. They go back there, and now they're infiltrating like his like imperial compound back there, and like trying to get in there and get the moon back, essentially. And also for Kay, trying to get him, delete anything that he has on her that he's trying to use against her. And yes, you sneak it, and that part of it was a bit more of like what you do the rest of the game, more of the like standard sneaking around. Still very fun.
Yeah, and it was a whole new area.
It was a new area
on Shara or whatever, but
and
you can't
it was also
access it.
Yeah, and it was also like because you're sneaking around like you do in the other game where you're like finding cover and avoiding the droids and the guards and everything, but you're also trying to like kind of follow Lando, because like Lando comes in. Like, because like Kay's sneaking in like a thief, but Lando walks right in and is like, "Hey, Thornton, I'm trying to make a deal." Yeah.
Doesn't he put you in the luggage?
Yes, he puts you in the luggage while he's like trying to like be the businessman, like trying to make a deal, pretending to, while Kay like is going and sneaking around, messing with all the files and all that stuff.
Right. He's kind of like, I'll be the distraction, and you sneak in and get the thing, get the moon or whatever.
Yeah, and that was fun. And you get to like hear their conversation, and you're kind of like following them through while they're walking around. And it's like, you're on like the comm, and kind of Lando's doing that thing where he's like obviously hinting towards Kay while also making the conversation with Thornton.
Right. Like you're hearing their negotiations or whatever the whole time while you're like sneaking in and trying to get to the office or whatever. And it's very like the level is vertical, like you're going up.
Yeah.
It's like almost like this tower sort of area. So like you're sneaking and you're going up and it's like all, like I like the layout of this area. It was real fun. And it was
you're
really
going up a tower and like each floor has a different challenge, essentially, whether it's like guards or traps or whatever else. And it was really fun. But yeah, I mean, it ends Kay gets Thornton off her back. Lando gets his moon. Thornton, I liked and like him. I liked not liking Thornton. He was a great villain.
He was a good like fun villain. Enemy to hate. Yeah. Like even in the beginning when he's blackmailing you, he's like cooking. He's like oh, I just love cooking or whatever. Because like you meet him in his little kitchen or what, are you on Tashara? I feel like it's on Tashara.
Yeah, I think it is.
Like he's kind of in the kitchen of this area and he's like making something. He's like cooking something and he's like, well, you have to have an attention to detail. And as he's like measuring the ingredients and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. He's like, this weird, like act like as he's blackmailing you, he's like, I thought it was like a fun take on that like weird, like, artistic villain trope of like all the 80s movies where the cartel boss is playing piano as he's explaining you the deal.
Yeah.
That was cool.
He was a lot of fun. And then it ends and you get to play Lando again for a third time.
Mm-hmm.
He lets you play again and I beat him then too. So Lando better.
Yeah. I don't know. Lando whack at Sabacc apparently when I play.
He's no match for Kay Vess.
Not today.
I guess it's kind of.
I got a trophy. I'll show you all my trophy, man. The trophy says I whooped Lando.
But that's basically the story. It was really well done. I think it was like there was still familiar enough gameplay where you weren't being like thrown to the wolves, but also like a lot of new fun like additions and kind of changes to what you normally do that like made it stand out.
And then you do get new, like as you do the mission, you get some new like. You get like a whole new outfit and you get a lot of new little cosmetics plus whatever, like that stuff was like cool. So you get like a little bit of rewards for doing the mission. Like I like to wear when I go play Sabacc, I'm like, oh, I'll put my Sabacc clothes on.
Yeah. Yeah, she gets like a cool little fancy suit to blend in. And yeah, it was really fun. We have at least one other DLC coming up this spring. We're getting Pirate's Price, which all we really know about it is that Hondo Naka's in it.
Which is also in a book called Pirate's Price.
Yes, that's true. That's just when, that's the name, Hondo's gonna show up.
Right. He's like, I'm consistently enacting a price.
Yeah. Yes. So that's exciting to see. Like I'm excited to see what is new there. Like presumably they'll add some new gameplay elements for whatever this new mission is for like for this one. So I'm curious to see what we're gonna do with Hondo.
Right. Well, also just like from a story perspective, I'm curious to see like how he's doing, like what his sort of thing is. Cause like, we got a few years before this, we catch him in Rebels and he's sort of all on his lonesome. And then we got a few years later, well, maybe not a few years, quite a few years later, where he's like running stuff on Batuu, a whole legitimate business over there. So like, it will be interesting to see, is he like kind of starting his Onaka syndicate or whatever, Onaka crew and Onaka gang right now? Or is he making moves towards, his Onaka Transport Solutions or what?
Yeah.
That's fun for me.
And also just to see, because Kay, she seems like a character that might not be very patient with his whole shtick. She seems like she might get frustrated with him. And so I think that relationship will be really fun. And to see how they kind of interact. Also, because you said Pirate's Price is the name of the book, and I was like, that's right. Are they really the same name? And they're not. It's called A Pirate's Fortune. I mixed it up.
Hold on, I think it's right here. Oh, I see what you're saying. The
Yes.
DLC is a Pirate's Fortune.
The DLC is A Pirate's Fortune.
Gotcha.
The book, I'm book brain, so I was like, oh, Hondo.
I was
Pirate's
like,
Price.
I got the book right here.
No.
Hold on.
You're right.
Never
No, the DLC is called A Pirate's Fortune. That was my bad.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, in this book, he enacted a price, but in this game, he's going to enact a fortune.
But yeah, I don't think they have a release date for it. We just know spring.
I thought it was next month. I'm pretty sure it is April. I could be wrong.
April's too many things for Star Wars. I won't have time for everything.
Well, you're going to have to make time.
It says to spring 2025. So it could be April.
Okay.
Could be May.
I could be wrong. I could have sworn there was like a...
There are a lot of things happening in April. So it's maybe you saw something else.
That's fair.
We're like, But yeah, so Pirate's Fortune. It just says the Trailblazer's reputation precedes Kay as she runs into veteran pirate Hondo Onaka, who's looking to settle old scores with a ruthless gang of pirates. So we'll see other pirates as well. Which begs the question, could we see some Skeleton Crew pirates? You know?
Well, it would be a lot. No.
It would be...
There would be a little
It'd be like 6 years before Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
So it's... I guess we don't know how long Captain Silva was in charge. So he may or may not be there, but maybe Brutus is hanging out. Maybe it's Gorian Shard from The Mandalorian.
Yeah, there you go. And Baby Vane.
Or it could just be other random pirates, you know? But it's fun to...
Right. Well, that's less fun.
It's less fun.
Then Baby Vane, come on.
Baby Vane's pretty good. Yeah. I would honestly...
Gorian Shard is just telling this baby, hey, I need you to rob K. Vess right now.
I do wonder if it would almost be funnier if Vane was there, but it was like another group of pirates. Like if he's just like a pirate crew hopper.
Right. He just keeps surviving somehow by running
away. Like what if he starts the game and he's with Hondo, and then after the events of the game, he gets mad at Hondo and goes to another group, and then he goes to Gorian Shard, and then he goes to Captain Silva. He's just always finding a new crew, that one.
Yeah. He's like, this pirate's price wasn't enough. I'm jumping ship.
I didn't get a pirate's fortune, so I'm gonna go to the other pirates.
I'm not able to play my Valacord on Nemoidia or whatever. No, it's not Nemoidia.
But yeah, that's as far as we know, that's the last DLC they have planned. I would love to see other ones because I love this game and I want it to keep going forever.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I was kind of hoping that with the DLC would be like a whole new area to explore. Like when I was imagining it in my head before it dropped, I was like, well, maybe they'll be like, okay, you got to go play this tournament. The tournament is on Nar Shaddaa or something. And then you have like a nice, fun little new map of Nar Shaddaa to explore. Oh, I can do the mission. And then I can also go here and I can go here. And look, there's a dewback over here. And I need to like find this farmer's cave or whatever. I kind of thought that's what it was going to be. So it's not quite that. It's basically a standalone new adventure. It's a lot of fun. The story's great. The acting is great. It's not really related to the bigger picture. Lando's in it a lot, which is fun. But it didn't really have other than the places that you're in when you're in it, there's not a whole lot of extra exploration that you get. But you do get a few new maps to do the missions on, which is very fun.
If you haven't played the game, the DLC, I recommend it. But do all your exploring before you start the big tournament or whatever.
Yeah, do all your mission. Do while you're on there, take it in.
Because you're not going back unless you go back and save.
Yes. The screenshot it all or whatever. I don't know. What about they also kind of updated the game in a big way. They sort of lessened a lot of the stealth requirements. How do you feel about that? I really love that I'm able to hold on to my weapons longer.
A lot of quality of life improvements for sure. Yeah, I did like the stealth. I wouldn't describe it as lessening the stealth, more as like making it like the guards can't see through the back of their heads as much anymore. Like making it
or also making it in areas where you would just like get arrested and it would be over and you'd restart the whole thing. They just added a few more checkpoints so you don't have to do the whole thing. If you get caught, you can go back a little less. And also like some areas where it was like it used to be required, it's like no longer required. You can sort of just go in and blow everybody up with a rocket launcher, which like might be funner for you. I still kind of employ stealth.
I prefer the stealth
fairly
too.
heavily. Like, but I like that I can now choose to do whatever I want. And like also if I get spotted, I can also decide, okay, well, it's time for the rocket launcher or whatever. I do enjoy that I have more options now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, a lot of just like, and a lot of like minor tweaks where you get to do things a little longer, and that I enjoyed a lot. And it was like it improved the stealth, but also like if you don't want to do stealth, like if you're just like, oh, I just want to grab this thing, and like you can just walk in and shoot everybody, and you make it a little easier,
right,
to do that, which is fun. But yeah, I guess we kind of talked about the game. I guess my question is, while we wait for a pirate's fortune, not price, are there any, not sure if we'll get any more DLCs, but are there any characters or DLCs, any types of missions that you would want to see if you got to make your own Outlaws?
I don't know. I think the main thing is I would just like a new area to explore. Like that's like a lot of the fun for me is like exploring the things in the game. And I have so much fun on, Toshara and Tatooine and Akiva and Kijimi and all that. Like that when there's a new DLC, I'm like, oh, okay, like a whole new thing in a new area, which I got. I just can't go back to it. But like when I was exploring it, I was like, oh, this is like a whole new area. This is so fun. Oh, I'm like in a tournament now. Oh, okay. Now I'm on this new base. Like a lot of the fun of this game is the exploration for me. That's what I'm really like taking. That's part of the fun. Like, whereas a lot of the fun of like Jedi Survivor is me killing like 47 stormtroopers in 12 seconds. So like Jedi Survivor, I had a lot of fun messing with the combat. And in this game, I have a lot of fun exploring and like looking at these picturesque landscapes and just like running around and doing whatever I want. So I guess if I had any wish, it would be a new area to explore and maybe even let me go back there after things are all done. And maybe even like more than whatever the story is in that area. Like even if it's a smaller map like Kijimi, I would like to go back there after whatever the mission is, after a guy get the fortune. It would be nice to go back there and be like, hey, pirates, how y'all doing? And just run around, and maybe there's a couple more missions and a little few extra things to do other than the story, big story stuff.
Yeah, I would like to play Sabacc with
that would be my main wish. There you go.
But I feel like how you can cheat with Nyx, I feel like he would have like a monkey lizard to cheat with.
Right. That like drugs your drink.
Yeah. Well, maybe
you just wake up tied to
I feel like
Dooku.
I don't know if his are well trained enough for much more than drugging a drink. Maybe his will just fight Nyx, so you can't use Nyx. Nyx is busy.
My Nyx is leveled up. I gave Nyx that good food.
I guess my dream DLC, I was thinking about this earlier, but I kind of want to see Kay interact with the rebellion more. Not that I necessarily want her character arc to be joining the rebellion as much as like I always enjoyed like her kind of like little like her bickering with like the rebels she talked to. It was just always fun. Right. And I was thinking like I kind of want her and Hera to meet because I think Hera would find her really frustrating. But also I think she would remind Hera of Ezra when she first met Ezra. Like when Ezra was still kind of that kid who's like, why would I go back to save someone else? And I think, for Hera at this point, she's a couple years removed from losing Ezra. And I think that would be like an interesting dynamic between the two.
I do like, I especially like her interaction with Lando. And I think of all the people for her to interact with. It like makes so much sense that of course he's still tied into the underworld and like, you know what I mean? Like, because he's working his underworld contacts on this side to support the rebellion on the other side. And like, you know, like in the story of the game, you sort of find out what's happening. Like Hera is almost probably on the, like she's a general by now, which is like super interesting. It would be cool. But I'm also like, oh, it'd be really like, well, like you'd have to be like, you know, the level would be this whole rebel. You're on the bridge of some rebel fleet. Like
No, I'm
you
not
got to
saying
go
it would
on her
make
ship
sense.
and be like,
I'm
what are we
saying I would
doing?
like her to.
Yeah. You're just like, I just want them to run into each other because Hera got off the boat once and was like, you know what? I just need to go hang out in Akiva and I need a weekend to myself.
She probably does need a weekend.
I just need to put me and Jason need to go check out the lake. Yeah.
But yeah, I would also like to see more Kira.
I don't know if I had to think.
I love Kira.
That would be great.
Love to see more of her.
Yeah. Yeah, I love all the stuff they did with her in the comics. And I'm really curious to see like if and where the next step of her story goes. Like I want to see more of her. Like, and I'm glad that they like revisited her. We got a book, we got some comics. So yeah, it's very, that was some of the most enjoyable stuff that I did enjoy that Charles Soule gave us. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like another rebel person that I think it would be fun for a Kay Vest to interact with. And I don't know, like I think just the banter of her and Lando.
If there's a jump in the story, forward or backwards, I would like to see her and Han too, because Han's also in that kind of same boat, but he's more jaded in some ways than Lando is.
Yeah. In some way, like a long time, I used to always feel like he was a step ahead. Like Lando was almost him one movie back. You know, like when we meet Lando in Empire, he's almost the Han that was in A New Hope. You know, or then like eventually they sort of both kind of branch off pretty differently.
But yeah, I guess, do we have anything else to say about Outlaws Wildcard?
I don't know. I'm still enjoying the game. I'm still not quite there. I'm like at 78% trophies or something, maybe 80. I'm still working on my 100%. It is a big game.
I've been distracted by the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle game. So I've been playing a lot of that.
Yeah, I haven't even messed with that.
And not as much Outlaws recently. Though I'll definitely dive right back in for a Pirate's Fortune.
Like if things go well, I would love to complete my 100% before Pirate's Fortune. And then that'll be my last little wrap up. And I'll be like, and everything is in a little package. And then I can, go back to Final Fantasy or whatever it is.
We also did, I guess, since we're talking about Star Wars video games, we also got some news about Hunters the other day.
Don't talk to me about this.
So sad. I don't want to do a whole podcast about it, so we're gonna tie it into this one. But Star Wars Hunters is ending. October 1st will be the last day. And we're getting one more update on April, like I think 15th or 16th. We're getting Tuya, who was a character in the Hunter's book in Battle for the Arena. She's a Twi'lek.
Oh, the hunter. Medic, right?
Yeah, she's a Twi'lek hunter. And so she will be, and there's like a couple like of the little like stickers, or the couple of those that are her, but she wasn't in the game, so she will be the last hunter added in April, and then the game support will end in October, and it's really sad.
In October. Yeah. It's upsetting. Like I don't know the logistics of how like they figure these things out. But I'm like, the game was not even out.
No, not even a year.
Like we didn't even, although like I think in other markets, I think like, I think New Zealanders had it in like 2022 or something.
But
and I don't know what or where or what, like if like, I mean, I'm guessing this is some sort of financial decision, but there was also not a really huge rollout or anything like that. It didn't get a whole lot of support as far as, I don't know, like promotion. So like, is that something that could have maybe helped? And it's just like stuff like this takes me back to like the Star Cruiser. Like you're cutting this off at its knees before it really gets the chance to do what it might do. And then you already spent the money. So like what, like, okay, fine. You're going to have to update a few new costumes and new hunters and maybe a new map every once in a while.
Yeah.
Like, you don't think you'll recover like if you keep it going? Like, there are dedicated players. I know it takes whenever I go on to play, which is often at least 3 or 4 times a week, if not more. I know I don't have a problem finding a match.
Yeah,
you know,
me too.
Like,
and yeah, it's a really fun game. And I know they were working on a PC rollout, which got delayed. I don't know if that's still happening or not in light of this.
I don't think so.
So I think it might have, my guess is it might have just been unfortunate timing where it came out right before Marvel Rivals, which kind of took over the hero shooter sphere, but also it was on a different platform, so I don't know. But I'm sad. I'm happy we have some time left to play it. I think even if you haven't tried it out, I don't think you should let this dissuade you from trying it. Like, definitely give it a shot before it goes, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I'll say the same thing that I always say. It's a free game. You have nothing to lose. If you have a Switch,
you have a phone, you can play it on mobile.
Go and have, or a phone. Yeah, it goes. Like, I enjoy the gameplay on a Switch much more. But just like, yeah, if you have a Switch or a phone, it's free. Like, go mess with it. If you have fun,
don't have
cool.
to spend,
you just got to have fun
you don't
for
have to
free.
spend any money. Like, the only money you could spend is cosmetics. So you don't need to at all.
Right.
And yeah, definitely check it out. It's really fun game. I like the music a lot. It's the music is on my playlist.
The thing that I always compare it to is Rivals, because that's the only other one of these kind of games that I've played, unless you count Battlefront. But like, I guess like Rivals you're playing as the characters. So for the people who are like, I want to be Luke Skywalker, okay, that's what Battlefront's for. And Rivals, like, you don't get that because these are all sort of, but I love the character design. These characters are all fun and interesting in new ways. And then I love the level design.
Yeah.
The level design is really, really fun in this game, to where like they're iconic locations, but it's also like a fun little game twist on it. And the idea is like, oh, it's an arena that they've built to be these icons. So like, there's a Hoth level, there's an Endor level, there's like a pod racing level. You can get hit by pod racers. There's a Vader's castle on Mustafar, and you can knock people into lava and stuff. It's like, it's really fun. So far, every level, like the new level that came out this season was the Coruscant Underworld. And I like that we all squatted up together, and I took you guys and I was like, look, if you go around this corner, you can see Dex. Look, there's like a little Dex right here. There's an ad for his little restaurant or whatever, and like, just like really fun little things like that. The design of the levels is so fun to run around. And I definitely don't get that in Rivals. I'm like, well, I guess this is Wakanda, and I guess like maybe if I was like super into Marvel, maybe I would feel that way. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm in Asgard now, and look at all the cool statues. Like, not that the level design is bad, but it's not as fun. Like, I just feel like Hunters has such a fun energy to it. Like, the characters, like one of the characters is 2 Jawas on top of each other. Like, how
it
can
doesn't
you not
get
have
better
fun
than
with
that.
It's so much fun. Like, everything about it, and the design and the music and everything. So I'm sad to see it go. I'm extremely upset. Nobody talked to me.
Yeah, really check the game out. It's also, I feel like it's very accessible, because I've played a lot of not a lot. I've played a fair number of hero shooters since like TF2. And I feel like Hunters is, I think it would be a very accessible one to get into if you don't play a lot of hero shooters. Because it's not like sometimes like Overwatch and Marvel Rivals, like if you don't know that kind of games, like sometimes I feel like you can walk in and all of a sudden you're getting like murdered by Spider-Man and headshot by Scarlet Witch, and you're like, what is happening? Where I feel like there's not as much of that in Marvel Rivals. Like, respawns are a little quicker. You have like a minute to kind of gather your bearings and figure out the controls. So I think it is still definitely a game worth checking out. And we still have 6.5 months with it. So enjoy it as much as you can.
Yeah. I was trying to get to Kyber so I can get that cool Graz
Oh
Ferrets costume.
yeah, his golden time.
Mm-hmm. That was
Time
my last thing because I
travel.
actually use Graz quite a bit. That's my heavy.
Hmm.
And so, like, when me and Axel were like, "Oh, I don't know, are we going to go through all this stress to get a Beskar?" Because he has the Beskar Sentinel, and then we also ended up getting the Beskar. I got the Beskar Diago.
Ooh.
He helped me get it, but he didn't quite get it.
Uh,
And then he was like, "No, it's fine. I don't care about Diago." And then we were like, "Okay, we're not going to go through the stress of Kyber unless we really want the costume." And then it was revealed, and it's like Graz, and I was like, "Well, you got the Sentinel. I need the Graz." And so we were like, okay, we're gonna like, but the gameplay sort of changed, and they like redid Sprocket. There was a whole bunch of stuff that's gone into this game, and it's a lot of fun. And every like update they've given it has been a lot more fun. I just don't see like, I don't understand business, I guess.
No. But hopefully, there's always the hope that the characters will live on. We'll see Utuni in a comic 5 years down the line, or
Right.
whatever else. So, but
Well, I mean, to that end, Amara Vex is in a lot of the like Hidden Empire
Oh, yeah.
/ Crimson Reign comics and stuff. So maybe there'll be
yeah.
even more.
So who knows? Hopefully, I love
that'll be
the
fun.
characters a lot. I think they're fun. I recommend everyone read Hunter's Battle for the Arena. It's a short, easy read. Great character work. It's adorable. So read the book, play the game. Because you have nothing to lose except a couple gigabytes on your
Fair
storage, and you can delete it if you don't like it.
Mhm.
So really nothing to
There
lose.
you go. You get them right back.
So definitely check the game out.
What I've been saying.
And yeah, but yeah, I guess that was a podcast. Sorry to end it on a bummer note, but I didn't want to have a whole bummer podcast, so I wanted to throw the news in here.
Fair enough.
But on a not bummer note, if you're going to Star Wars Celebration Tokyo, check out Star Wars Geek Girl on the HoloNet News stage on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. I don't think there are any other big panels at the same time, because remember last year at London, our panel was at the same time as the High Republic panel, and so everyone's like, "Sorry, I'm going to High Republic." I was like, "Yeah, that's fair," but this time we're half an hour after the Andor panel, so you can finish up Andor, come hang out with us. Then right after, go to the Ahsoka panel. If you get, I guess they said you can only get into one that day, either Andor or Ahsoka. But whichever one, you don't have to miss them for us.
So if you're going to Ahsoka, come hang out with us first.
I don't think I'm going to Ahsoka because my show store reservations at the same time, so I'm going to try to go to Andor instead. It's okay.
Got it.
But yeah, so check us out there's a lot of really fun panels. Also check out that afternoon, because you'll already be at Celebration on Saturday to hang out with us. You can check out Vanessa Marshall talking to Oscar Isaac, a little pilot chat. We kept talking about pirates, so I almost said pirate. Pilot chat. Which will be
Pilot's fortune.
So yeah, so that'll be really fun. If you're not going to Celebration, we will try to stream it. You'd have to check your exact time zone, but 11:30 a.m. on Saturday in Japan is like 9:30 or 8:30 at night on Friday in the US. Because of time zone difference. We'll try to stream it for everybody at home, or if you're not in the US, wherever you are, just wherever you are in relation to Japan. It's a big world. But you can also go to StarWarsGeekGirl.com or theneilnation.com check out all the writing. Our monthly poll is up. You can vote for your favorite High Republic, you can vote for your favorite Young Jedi Adventures character. We have some Young Jedi Adventures coming this week. And then you can follow us on Facebook, Star Geek Girl, and Instagram and Blue Sky at SWGG Girl. Master Z has a great answer.
That's my favorite.
Good answer. You have to vote on the poll, though, or no one will know.
I have to go tell the internet.
Where can we find the Rogue Rebels and you? Because you were just on Star Wars Kids.
Oh, yes, I was. You can go check us out at theroguerebels.com. You can check out our podcast. Make sure you're subscribing and sharing and liking. And if you have Spotify, you can also search up Rogue Rebels Podcast and go to playlists where we have like a lot of different, all our podcasts sorted by content. So you can we have a Skeleton Crew playlist and a comics playlist and books playlist and High Republic playlist and all that kind of stuff. Which is awesome. We are starting a Rebels rewatch. So, much like Pod of Rebellion, the hype is real. So we're all getting into that. And then you can check me out on the Star Wars Kids YouTube channel. They just released a new episode of Lightsaber Academy, which is the first episode of the second season. There's a whole other season of little lightsaber skills. So if you or your youngling want to practice at home swinging around your lightsaber, I got a couple of combos for you. So come check it out. It was a lot of fun, and I'm doing what I like to do, wave lightsabers around.
And speaking of Pod of Rebellion, we just had Vanessa Marshall on to talk about Pod of Rebellion and revisiting Star Wars Rebels. So if you missed that podcast, make sure to check that one out as well. It's really fun.
Sweet.
Well, thank you so much for coming on to the show, Sal, and talking some video games with me. I was Zoe.
Anytime. I was
May the
Sal.
Force be with you, and goodbye.